First album review, we have Her Loss, a supposed dual album by Drake and 21 Savage, 16 songs, 1 hour long. And joining us on this review is C's from all of C's stuff that he does individually, We Made It podcast, and of course, Power Report. Um, we're really glad to have him on here, and we're really glad to help us actually keep the podcast fair, balanced, and unafraid when it comes to Drake coverage. Now, Sean and I's opinions of Drake are pretty outstanding, or like not outstanding necessarily, but like we have talked about them already. Especially we talked about Certified Lover Boy, Honestly Nevermind, Scorpion, More Life. Drake discourse has been much affront on this podcast, and so there's not much we need to say. But Caesar, in addition to one of the ghost producers, Annie, have provided a little bit of notes for this podcast. So we'll be talking about those there. But yeah, Her Loss is a dual album between both the artists. We listened to it. It is, I'll put some of my cards on the table right now. I think Drake had more than a lot to prove with Honestly Nevermind. It was a reach, and while Sean and I had our fun trashing that album, we both felt that we appreciated Drake for being at the stature he is, taking such a leap of trying to be a little bit different, even if it didn't land all that well on Audioface. We'll applaud artists for that. But that being said, on Her Loss, Drake had a lot to prove by returning to basics, especially kind of following up Jimmy Cooks, which was that last song with Drake and 21 Savage on Honestly Nevermind. And I think with Drake going back to basics, you get Drake a little bit at his best, but all my problems with Drake still stand here. What are your thoughts, C's? And Sean, of course.
We're talking what? 12 years now of Drake mainstream 12-year run, right? So far.
Are we counting Degrassi? Because I could put like 2 more years.
We're not counting no damn Canadian television show. We're not counting it as mainstream. Everyone knows Degrassi. No one really watched it unless like you were a preteen. I don't want to hear this. Drake 12-year run as a prominent top 5 or big rapper or music artist in North America. At least a 12-year run, which is years from now, we're still going to look back like, that's a crazy run. No one does that. People got 3 albums in them at best. So crazy run. Consistently with me, I'm somebody that I get very bored of. Out of all the Drakes that Drake gives us, I get very tired and bored of rapper Drake. Rapper Drake is like, I've seen this from MySpace. Like, come on, dog. I know you want to be a New York rapper so bad and you're from Toronto. It's just stop. Like, not stop, but that's mean. But I'm just kind of done.
No,
I get kind of done with it.
No, stop.
I get kind of done with it. Drake has made some incredible hits. This album specifically to me, I'm like, I feel like at some point I was pressing and songs were going. I'm like, damn, it's still going. So I felt like I was doing a lot. I'm like, ah, damn, another one? What is this, 30 songs on here? Goddamn. Can we just get like 12, 11? It's just
16.
I think conceptually, you're putting together, I think one of the best feature rappers you can have is 21. I think 21 is fantastic at adapting, changing his style, and just being himself also on other people's songs, tracks, albums. He's such a good partner to have in music. Like he's really good at that, no matter stuff. Because if you followed him before, he's very into like R&B and other types of music. He's not just one verse. He's very into like other things. So I think when you lend yourself to being open to other styles, it lets you to be like better working in different pairs and different matchups. Like I think ideally some of the songs are bangers, but I did feel like at times I was like, and then it did feel a little petty too. It felt a little bit of a petty album. It felt a little petty, dog. It felt like it was appeasing to like the butthurt boys in the world right now, you know, the salty boys, you know, the anti shorties out there. You know,
we got some of that,
guys.
We got some of that. We got some of the Andrew Tate Avengers over here.
Yeah, the Andrew Tates would really rock with Her Loss. Like, yeah, there was Her Loss. Like, okay, dude.
But those folks had no her to lose is the thing. So like,
no. There never was a her in the first place. It was a random match from a bot on Tinder, and they're just really upset about this bot not responding to the link they clicked on.
Sean, what do you think?
I'm giving 21 a pass because he's my favorite modern day rapper.
That's my brother right there. Sean knows.
I really hate Drake, man. Like this, it's just Jesus Christ. I agree with Caesar because my favorite Drake is R&B Drake, where he actually uses his voice, his vocals, and all of that. And like that's one thing on Honestly Nevermind. I'll give him like credit for it. I said it in the review where I like him doing something different, trying other stuff. The last decent Drake album was Scorpion a few years ago. And even then, it is super long and bloated, but there's at least a couple bangers here that nonstop, and a few others that he sounds fine at. But with Her Loss, it just sounds like 8 steps backwards for Drake, where it's just the way he's rapping, the way like his lyricism, everything. It just feels corny. It feels really disingenuous, and like the way he's saying it sounds very immature as well. It's like the whole thing with Drake being a rapper is he wants to be like this. He wants to be part of Slaughtergate, right? He wants to be this really hard dude when he's not in reality. Gated community in Toronto, like child star and everything. Like you're not from the streets, like 21 and a bunch of other rappers you pretend to be. And I will always get him on that.
Yeah, you're a boring legal immigrant.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
not illegal.
Come on, man. At least get deported and all.
That's what I'm talking about. Real illegal out here. ICE agents was trying to track.
Like Donald Trump gonna deport my cars.
So real 21 lyric that happened that's before.
Fantastic.
It happened right before the whole dust up with 21's British ancestry. And like, not to cut you off, Sean, but even before we talk about this record, because C's made a great point about their Drake having, hit after hit after hit, or at least I'll say commercial success after commercial success, because commercial success and hit are not necessarily the same thing. That being said, I think a lot of the stuff that Drake did in the early 2010s, like before 2015 up until like even More Life, was, some of the best work of that era. Like I legitimately like some of those songs. I think from that era, it's almost impossible to not like at least one, maybe 3 or 5 Drake songs from that era. But like I said, like is one of the themes of Audioface, especially this year, is that quality is definitely not equal to quantity. And so even before that, a lot of this is about the glitz, the glamour, the fact that you have Drake, 21 Savage, these two of these artists who are at the top of their game. And I think kind of like what both of you were kind of alluding to is the fact that I don't know, it was C specifically who said 21's a good feature artist, and that's kind of what you get through this record. More on that in a little bit. But the rollout of this album was just ridiculous. You had the fake Tiny Desk concert. You had a bunch of like fake instances where they seem like they're doing the normal things you would do with an album release, but it's not happening. So you had the fake Tiny Desk concert that was like a promo. You had the fake Vogue cover. You had the fake Vogue interview. I think it even came down to a fake Howard Stern interview where Drake and 21 are talking about, Savage's British nationality to Drake's preferences past like 3 a.m. on X videos. Like, like all of his different, like all these different like random asides here that are kind of meant to poke at the idea of an album rollout, the fact that you can't just like put out music for the purpose of it. And I think Drake is an interesting character to make this kind of point. That being said, I appreciate Drake kind of like putting my cards on the table. Just like y'all said, you appreciate Drake when he's at his more R&B neo-pop style thing. I appreciate Drake when he's self-aware. I appreciate Drake when he understands that, like, listen, dog, no one's taking you seriously like you're from the streets. So if you're gonna do that, at least rap like you're obviously pretending, a la Lil Dicky or Dave or whatever the fuck, right? Or yeah, do the neo-pop R&B thing, because otherwise it doesn't fit. And I think even before we jump into some of the songs in here, that overarchingly tells what this album's about.
No, for sure. And like, I really think what you guys said is my sentiment about Honestly Nevermind is that I really lend myself to respect artists that reach, experiment, listen to new sounds. And even I know a lot of people were hating on More Life when it first came out, and a lot of discussions about appropriation and different things. But I think that when you lend yourself to listening to different styles of music and you want to incorporate it and like add it to like what you're doing, I think that's cool. I like when artists get risky. And especially when you've built up a credibility, you've built up reputation of a long time. I mean, my first Drake album I'm a big fan of was Take Care. I was a big fan of Take Care, and it was 2011. Now the next album I probably really enjoyed the most, other than individual hits on some of the albums, the next one I really enjoyed probably through and through was More Life. And I'm like, like I think it's cool that you can have such, so many albums and then still come out with Honestly Nevermind, and also take a stance on it. I thought that was really cool that when everybody was combating him about the album, he was like, y'all gonna come listen to this in the future and be like, this was really it. And I can appreciate someone that can like stand by their craft as well too. So when Dan says, it's about you staying in like, almost staying in your lane, and in terms of like you need to stop like embellishing something or talking about a lifestyle you don't live. Yeah, for sure. I think that stuff I'm just like I feel very about, or I'm like listening to some of these lyrics. I'm like, whatever. But when I'm listening to this album, I listen to the lyrics, but I listen to the flow, listen to how it makes me feel, listen to the vibe. And it sounds like there was an intention to give me that, but it just didn't make me go. I never went damn at once. I went, but I never gave like a damn feeling.
And even I disagree with that, and I'm the Drake hater, so I want to kind of jump into some of these songs. For sure. Number one was Rich Flex, and we won't jump into every single song here, but like we usually jump into the title track with like what it kind of sells, what it kind of tells. Sean, you told us how you feel about that. What were your thoughts here with how it started us off?
Rich Flex had what, like 4 different beats on it. It was just a lot. They were coming in with like a lot going on there.
How do you feel about that trend of rap right now, where you just like kind of you just like superimpose beats on one another to like make that point, to make that song here? Do you think that's working, or do you appreciate other songs, which does happen later in here, where you get multiple artists together, but it's still more or less on the same beats, on the same flow? Because yeah, go ahead.
I'm not the biggest fan.
I think it's lazy.
Drake has notoriously done the two things like Paris Morton music. He likes to do the 2 different beats, like 2 different songs basically on one title. Fine. You want to do that? Great. It's not for me. It might be for somebody out there, but in my opinion, I'm not really a fan. Like this, it feels very like for someone like like it just feels all over the place for me, and it's like a little overwhelming. I'm like, I look down, I'm like, this is the same song? What the hell? Like you think your Spotify just skipped. You're like, oh, it's the same song? Okay. And then if you like the beat, it's already gone because there's another one that just came out of nowhere. You're like, damn, all I got was 1 minute of the song I liked in the song.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, Witch Flex was okay.
I don't think it set the album off on the best foot. I wasn't really even kind of feeling the album until you got to On BS, which I think is one of the more 21 led tracks, which I think is the thing here, which is like 21 is not only the features man, which I kind of flip it. I think 21 on the features has been kind of weak lately, but I think that when he's leading albums, when he's really bringing his all, he is like one of the best in the game. And really like along with Young Thug, maybe Lil Baby, like the Drake heir apparent when it comes to who can do a little bit of the neo-pop R&B, who can really hold down the rap, like who can do all that and become like a real superstar kind of thing.
You could put that in too.
I really think so as well. But yeah, Sean, what do you think about what was the part of the album that kind of really got to you, whether it was On BS or even after that?
Well, like on BS, there's a couple tracks I think that are decent. The more obviously the 21 led tracks, like you have more M's towards the end of the album, which is Metro. Most Metro tracks I'll like to a certain extent, and but there's a lot of things in here I really don't like. I think the first 2 tracks are really bad to start off. Like I don't know why they're at the beginning, especially Rich Flex is a terrible track to begin. I hate that trend now. Dan, you are right with it, where like we were saying how it was like we've been getting that trend of throwing 2 or 3 songs together into one, especially within rap, trap, hip hop the past couple of years, and sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't, and this year especially we've been getting it more and more to the point where it's overdone and it gets annoying because there might be one idea there that I really like and I go, oh, I want that expanded upon more. And the next thing you know, it cuts to a different thing that's garbage, and it cuts to something that's good, and then it cuts to another thing where it's just, I don't like that because it makes the album feel choppy. It makes it feel like not well thought out and everything, and it doesn't flow. And then you don't get that really nice rhythm that you get within good records where it plays through well. If you have that a lot of that choppiness, the next thing you know, the next track, like example Rich Flex, and you have major distribution, it just feels off with that. And then you get to on BS, it's like, okay, this is where I can get onto it. And then there's just, as C's kind of alluded to earlier, it's really bloated. It feels long as hell. Like getting down all the way to more M's. Like I might have the first listen through like half of the record. I was like, I don't even know what I'm listening to at this point. It's just there's a lot. And then the second listen through, third listen through, is like, okay, there's a couple things I can pop through, but not Circo Loco. That's a conversation we're about to have in a second because I'm gonna go off. But yeah, it's just not very good.
To tease some of Annie's commentary here, it feels a little bit, in Ghost Producer Annie, who has been on previous Audioface episodes of Four, as an early Kanye denouncer, and
I can't wait to hear her Kanye ideas now.
Yeah, as she notes in this episode, she wants to be introduced as also a male Drake fan. And so
Annie, also a male Drake
fan. That's like in quotes, all right? But
that's gangster.
Circo Loco was definitely a point that caused us all to go like, wait, what? Because that's a Daft Punk flip right there.
Yeah, it's the sacred one more time beat, and Drake just, that's the worst track to start a shit ton of beef unnecessarily so. And the way he did the beat goes and everything, it doesn't go well with One More Time at all. It feels like not synced. The way he sings One More Time too, I hate it. It's the worst way you can use that sample.
Yeah, I mean, going off of you guys, Rich Flex Major Distribution start off. I was like, okay, but on BS, Back Outside Boys. Even I kind of like that energy that Back Outside Boys kind of brings out. You're like, okay, like you're trying to give me like, you know, they're doing a good. It's like they're feeling their thing, but yeah. Just know, especially myself also as a resident, you know, Daft Punk fan, when I pressed Circo, I didn't know what to expect Circo Loco was. When that started, I was like, what's going on here? And even as we're going, I was like, wow, we're really going to commit to this, aren't we? We're just like
committing to the
this
bit,
is going to
dude.
be like a 10-second like tease, you know when they tease a sample and you're like, okay, and then they do like, no, we're gonna go through and through for 4 minutes now. Okay.
Drake does these really obnoxious kind of like samples over the chorus too, where he starts to write his own like whorish ass shit over it, and I'm just like, dude, stop bastardizing and degrading the song. You had some good shit with that one like vocal end of On BS, where you had that French guy who was talking about how he's on the shit like, oh, you rock around with the V12 trying to flex, I drive a 4-cylinder, I'm still better than you. Like, honestly, that went kind of hard, even though it was a very extended kind of interlude, right? But then you get to, okay, we're gonna honor the French by like taking a fat dookie on like what might as well be the French national anthem when it comes to dance music. Was it's not a good look, Drake. Honestly, like it's real bad. It's ugly. I mean, speaking of ugly, this album, as Sean alluded to, started a lot of different beef. Circo Loco had a lot of it. You had one piece of it where Drake said, "Linking with the ops, bitch. I did that for Jay Prince, bitch. I did it for the mob ties." Where he's talking about that concert that Drake did with Ye for that benefit show in Los Angeles for the person who was in prison, and his name's kind of like not coming to me right now. And so like Drake's starting to beat up with Ye, but Ye's response was like, "Enough already. I don't give this man his flowers multiple times. Let's see who the real ops are in this music game." I don't really like to entertain Ye's mental health episodes there. But even in the same song, you had some mentions of other artists, including Megan Thee Stallion, where the lyric was, "This bitch lie about getting shots, but she's still a stallion." And so that's obviously like, whether it's a turn of phrase, whether it's a play of words, we've also seen this a lot in year, where male rappers fix to get up the names of female rappers and shit they did or didn't do with those rappers, or situations that they're involved in that are like none of their business, that are really, really fraught right now, because you have a bunch of people who are just siding with Tory Lanez, who are saying, regardless of what the truth is or what the evidence is, that bitch lying, which is a wild opinion to have, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's awful.
Whatever you do, keep Meg Thee Stallion's name out of your mouth.
Out
Do
your
not talk.
fucking mouth.
Drake, you got some nerve talking to the queen like that, sir. Don't talk about the queen, okay? Look here. Canada, I got a lot of patience with Canada. I got a lot of patience.
Arguably
But
too much.
I'm going to get real conservative. Don't come into my country, this red, white, and blue, and this our Texas queen, okay? Don't you do that, sir. You stay right there in GTA where you're from, the Grand Toronto area. You go back over there to GTA, homie. Don't talk about Meg Thee Stallion. She's over here defending reproductive rights for women. It's a busy time right now. You shut fuck up and get out of here, okay? I don't want to hear this. And also, it's whack that your diss is the most goofy thing that people have been doing, is to come at a woman who got shot in the foot. And regardless of what Drake feels about it, because he's best friends with a dude who got hair plug surgery in Turkey, however he feels about this, how many times have you been shot, Drake? You've never suffered a bullet wound in your life, okay? You too busy getting Aaliyah tattoos and other weirdo shit on your body. You never got a bullet. This woman, no matter what happened, she suffered a grave injury from a gun. And if the woman told me that it was Tory Lanez that shot her in the foot, I'm gonna take her word for it. Why am I gonna take the word? She's the one that did Tory Lanez get shot in the foot. Why am I gonna listen to him for? Like, I'm sorry. She talked about it. It's going on. She said it happened. I'm taking her word. That's his loss on that one. That was his loss on that one. That was really whack. Don't be coming at Meg Thee Stallion, the legend. That is our Texas American queen. Stay back.
Sean, any last thoughts on that?
That's beautiful. Thank you, Caesar.
I mean,
it's true. That's it. It's true.
So right after that, though, I think Pussy and Millions gets to some of their best. And I think, in our big conversation on Audioface, top heavy album, bottom heavy album, this album got a donk on it. I love the last half of this record. I think that the latter half of this album doesn't redeem the first half. Definitely not going to try to argue that after what Siege just laid out there right there. But in the words of Shapiro, P-word and Millions, Pussy and Millions with Drake, Travis Scott, and 21 Savage. Thankfully, and I mean thankfully, and of course, Travis Scott, one of the arteurs of doing that, like, annoying switch-up thing in rap music. Like, he is on here, and his part of the song does that a little bit. But I think that when we were talking about our feeling of trap music in the past couple years that just stitches songs together and does it kind of lazily, Pussy and Millions is a much more tasteful version of that. I mean, like, title aside, it is a much more tasteful version of that style of bringing three different artists together in the modern way, still making the song sound fresh, still giving it a good beat, but ultimately, I think that's a pretty good pairing of all three of them, and it's pretty hard. Like, all three of those artists have very distinctive styles, and I think all three of those artists, especially Drake and 21, have multitudes of styles within their styles. So to make that all work, it can't be overstated how difficult that is. Even though apparently the person who was mixing and mastering the record got COVID, and that's why I got delayed a week. But I mean, just like playing your shit earlier, brothers. But like, overall, I really liked that part of the record and some of the latter parts too. Like, I think y'all mentioned more M's. And then there's some of the last songs where 21 and Drake kind of trade off on their album enders, where they do it mostly solo. 21 with 3 AM on Glenwood, which I think is some of 21's best rap. I guess it's Fuck Me, which is pretty decent for Drake, but I actually really enjoyed Middle of the Ocean. Like, I think if you're a rap fan, Middle of the Ocean is Drake's most rapidy rap song, that, like, most giving respect to the game kind of rap song that he's done in quite a while. It's like borderline boom bappy. It's pretty long at like almost 6 minutes. I personally like that one.
Pussy Millions. I'm so mad I said that out loud. I can't believe I said that word. That's insane. I'm uncomfortable. Corporal Drake and the rest of this top 5 industry is gonna keep trying to give me Travis Scott. I'm gonna keep throwing it back in your face. I don't want him. I don't want to listen to him. The best thing that ever happened in his career is someone remixed Goosebumps, and I'm happy with that. Just go away. I don't want to hear it. I don't care about him. I don't care about him doing black and white videos and apologizing that children would die at his concert. I don't care. You're not going to feed me Travis Scott. I don't want to hear it. That's all I got to say about that song. I listened to it and I was like, okay, skip. That's what I did. That's what I did. I did it for them kids. I did it for the kids. I did it for the kids.
Yeah. I'm
never gonna be invited to Audioface again. This is my last run again.
No. How do you feel about Middle of the Ocean though? As Sean also as well.
Yeah. Real quick on Sean, I would say I think Dan, you said it best. Middle of the Ocean is for those rapper. I feel like it's. I don't know why I keep classifying them because I just don't like New York. I feel like it's the New York hip hop kids. They're just like, yeah, I want that rap. I want you to give me that real get on that beat. And just rap. Give us rap Drake. That's for them. I can tell that with you have 1,800 songs on an album, there's gonna be some stuff that's not made for me. And I'm like, yeah, it's not for me, but I can expect that someone's gonna really rock with that stuff. That's what they were looking for.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there's not much more to contribute because we've spent 27 minutes talking about Drake, so that's enough Drake for me for the next 36 months. So.
Oh my god! Honestly, Nevermind was a good album. Stop this.
No. That's honestly fair. I'll end with some of Annie's thoughts here before we get to the arbitrary scale. But yeah, she honestly liked the first half of the record, which I don't disagree with. But
interesting.
She says that this era of Drake and Kanye kind of makes her sad because the Circo Loco was just an absolute farce on One More Time, which is a good song. Drake should absolutely leave women alone when it comes to Megan Thee Stallion, or Serena Williams and her husband Alexis Ohanian, which was just a ridiculous thing. Dude's the founder of Reddit, dog. Do you have anything better to do than to be beefing with the founder of Reddit? Is Jack Dorsey
you want to
next,
diss
brother?
males, I'm down, but don't be coming at Meg, though. Don't come at Meg. Don't come at Meg, sir.
Listen, Kanye West is totally fine. Ice Spice is a little bit ridiculous, even though Drake said, quote, trying to bring the drama to me, he ain't know how we cha-cha slide. Again, Drake... Neither Drake nor Drum are about that life, and it's pretty damn obvious. But again, Drum's in the right here. It was his fucking song. But again, you get this fake flexing here, and it's the point where she's like, "Damn, do I feel sorry for Kim Kardashian?" Because of all the stuff going on with Drake and whatnot. But I like how she says this because I think it's honestly a good point. I don't have an eloquent hot take. This shit is dumb. Either go make good music or admit your time is over when it comes to Drake.
And mind you, that's a resident male Drake fan. So this isn't just the word of anybody. Anna's a resident male Drake fan, and that's gospel in the hip hop world. She follows Rap TV. On God, she does. She follows Rap TV. I know she does, as we all do on Twitter.
Same was 21 Savage in the Shade Room, which was there was that one lyric over there. So
but I like that when we reviewed this album. This is what I like about this. We all came to, Dan kind of threw a little shade. I'll let it slide down. We all came to consensus that I don't have anything to say to 21. I got nothing bad to say about him.
No,
he did his job. He showed up.
Pass.
He did the lyrics. Even in the promo, he's doing his thing. He's still consistently the coolest formerly illegal immigrant America's ever had. He's the coolest illegal ever. And I love him for this. He's really dope. Consistently the cool guy in hip hop. He's absolutely the cool guy.
Yeah, even though, according to Hip Hop by the Numbers, Travis Scott was in 8% of the album with that track, and then 21 Savage was in 26% of the album, and then Drake was in 66%.
Very Drake.
It was a lot of Drake, and I could have done with a lot less Drake. But overall, arbitrary scale.
yeah.
Arbitrary scale. We do arbitrary scales every week on Audioface because our review is our review. Thank you, Caesar, very much for joining us. Please let us know what your review is on this. This week, our arbitrary scale is the price you would pay to get a blue check mark on Twitter.com under our Lord and Savior, Elon Musk, who has apparently such an inability to work it that even Grimes was like, yeah, dude, I can't do this. Let me just take this baby up and leave and get that alimony when I see ya. So, Annie's entry into this, Annie will go first, and then it'll be UC's will get it. It'll be Annie's scale will be the price of one bag of Chex Mix, where I pick out the good pieces, 21, and try to pawn off the rest to my friends in the middle of class.
And that's a hard bargain. If I'm Elon, I don't think I've ever had Chex Mix in my life, but he only, I was gonna say something very bad, and I'm not gonna
do
say
it.
We're not streaming. We're not streaming.
That's
You can
what
say
this
it.
podcast is for.
I'm not gonna let you guys gaslight me into doing this. I'm a good person.
Sean, what's your arbitrary scale? And then I'll do mine, and if C's nuts up, I'll do my. He'll do his as well.
My arbitrary scale for this, I'm not giving them a dime of nothing that I barely earn in this country to get a fucking check mark, dude. You're gonna make me pay and watch ads. Do you think I'm dumb? I'm not doing that. The only person that's jipping me with ads and money is Disney Plus right now, and he's the whole thing ESPN. They're stealing money from me, and that's the last corporal's gonna steal money from me to pay for ads. You're not happening, or maybe Peacock, whatever. But that's it, dude. You're not taking my money, and I'm gonna go look at ads still. What are we doing here for a check mark? No.
Mickey Mouse is gonna get his back, motherfucker.
Yeah, like Mickey Mouse only one getting this hard-earned cash. No way, dude. Sorry, Elon. I've already predicted after Facebook is in the hole, Twitter's next, homie. This man's already firing people and memeing it on Twitter. It's over, dog.
Sean, what's your pick?
This is all of the whatever the amount that Drake has failed to pay in child support is how much it is.
Ooh.
Has he failed?
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, Sean got the inside. I was like, damn.
Sean got Pusha T's connect.
I'll pay however much hang time Drake has on his braids, and that's a zero. He has zero hang time on those braids he does, and that's how much I'm paying, bro. That's how much I'm paying.
Okay, for me, this is gonna be one of those pennies you find on the not just on the ground, but like on the street. Like a street penny, there's a hierarchy. There's a street penny, and then there's a floor penny, and then there's a desk penny, and then there's like a penny in your bank account. Because Lord knows you ain't gonna do shit with an actual penny. You're just gonna like, oh, I'm doing my part because I'm driving by the street and I'm giving a penny to a homeless person. I'm good. There you go. I'm a good American. Anyways. C's, we've used too much of your time. Go ahead and do what you need to do. Thank you very much for coming on. And for C's takes on politics, check out We Made It, and C's on Twitter at We Made It C's. Also on Power Report. And then for C's takes on soccer, you can only check that out on We Made It podcast. And also for Takeoff as well, because we've used too much of your time, and you bill by the quarter hour, so I can't get you on your Takeoff takes. But
I was trying to get some money for that blue check mark, No,
we'll do that a little bit later. But thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, shout out. Thank you for having me on the show. Shout out Power Report, the community syndicate we hear, and also RIP Takeoff. Please stop the gun violence. That's enough. Please stop with the guns, please.
Thankfully, Caesar, everyone listens to Audioface, so we're good.
I'll see you guys.
Peace.